Escaping the daily grind and retiring to an exotic locale where you can spend your golden years exploring and enjoying a new setting might actually make your retirement nest egg go a lot further. To assist in your retirement planning, GOBankingRates use Numbeo, an online pricing database, to identify 50 countries that are the cheapest in the world to live during retirement. The countries are ranked by 4 key affordability metrics, and each metric is measured against what you would find in New York City. Cost of Living Index includes the costs of local goods and services, such as restaurants, groceries, transportation and utilities. Average rent, the typical rental price in the country. Groceries Index includes typical grocery prices in the country. Local Purchasing Power Index measures the relative purchasing power of a typical salary in the country. A lower purchasing power buys fewer goods, whereas a higher purchasing power buys more. The study also factored in the following quality of life metrics for each country. Healthcare Index includes estimates of the overall quality of the healthcare system, healthcare professionals, equipment, staff, doctors and costs. Safety Index measures the safety of the country on a scale of 0 to 100. A higher safety index indicates a safer country, whereas a lower safety index indicates a more dangerous country. Average temperature, the average annual temperature of the country based on the average annual temperature for major cities in the country. Based on a combination of these affordability and quality of life metrics, GOBankingRates study found that the most affordable places to retire abroad were in the following 50 top-ranked countries. 50. Netherlands. Although the Netherlands can't claim the title of lowest cost of living for retirement, it definitely has perks. Its healthcare system, for example, ranks 8 points higher than the US healthcare system. Certain work-related activities can get you a long-term residence permit, while putting at least €1.25 million into a Dutch company can secure residency for investors. 49. Australia. Australia doesn't have the lowest cost of living, but it can make sound financial sense for retirees. Besides a local purchasing power nearly 30% higher than that of New York, Australia has a healthcare index of 76.38 that outranks the US by 7 points, according to Numbeo. The Australian government has an excellent website outlining a path to permanent residency for eligible retirees. 48. Finland. Although Finland doesn't enjoy the lowest cost of living, it's one of the cheapest places to live in the Nordic states. Should you choose to retire there, you'll have to apply for either a first residence permit, an extended residence permit or a permanent residence permit on the government website. 47. United Kingdom. The UK can certainly be expensive, but nothing beats its sense of pageantry and history. Benefits for American retirees included a familiar language and culture. You'll have to visit the UK government website to determine if you are eligible to settle in the country, a process that the country in its quintessentially English manner dubs indefinite leave to remain. 46. Denmark. With the exception of Iceland, which is a much more expensive country, Denmark gets top billing for the safest country in the world, making it a great place to consider retirement. However, it can be difficult for Americans to stay longer than 3 months in Denmark. Still, there are paths to residency, including marriage to a Dane or an employment contract, if you plan to continue working. 45. Ukraine. Dense forests, Baroque architecture and a picturesque coastline along the Black Sea promise leisurely days of retirement in Ukraine. Even better, you can save more than 77% on rent and groceries when retiring in the country. Staying longer than the short-term visa allowance of 90 days requires applying for long-term residency with the correspondent regional state migration service of Ukraine. 44. Russia. Use your retirement years to explore the largest country on earth. The average apartment rental in Russia is more than 80% cheaper than what you would spend in New York City. Regardless of the intended duration of your stay, the Russian embassy recommends all Americans apply for a multiple-entry, 3-year visa for business, private, tourist or humanitarian reasons. 43. Germany. Germany is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, full of charming villages, historic monuments and lush green valleys. To retire in Germany, it's best to visit your local consulate before you visit. You may be granted a 1-year residency permit that can be renewed. After 5 years of residency, you can apply for a settlement permit, but you'll need to brush up on your German language and culture if you intend to qualify. 42. Belgium. In addition to decadent chocolates, Belgium has a top-rated healthcare system, with an index score of 79.44 compared to 69.41 for the US, according to Numbeo. If you plan to live in the country for the long haul without working, you'll need to apply in person at a US-based consulate. Bear in mind that you'll need to complete a language form that is in French, German or Dutch, which makes things difficult for English-only speakers. 1. Italy. The language, the culture, the history, the food. Who wouldn't want to retire in Italy? Your first step is to apply for an elective residency visa at your nearest Italian consulate. Once you're in the country, demonstrating proof of passive income and residency via rental contract are essential steps toward acquiring a long-term permit. 40. Austria. Austria is a beautiful country with lower costs compared to the US, but getting a residency permit requires Americans to jump through a few hurdles, including proof of German proficiency. You should start your application process in the US before you visit. Permits are granted for specific reasons, such as education, research or employment. 9. United Arab Emirates. The UAE grants 5- and 10-year residency visas to foreigners who invest either 5 million dirhams or 10 million dirhams in the country, respectively. Visas are also granted to those with specialized talents, such as doctors, scientists or inventors. 8. Panama. To file a residency application for Panama, use an immigration lawyer in the country. In addition to some simple paperwork, all you need to demonstrate is a verifiable pension income of at least $1,000 per month from a government program or private corporation. If you qualify for the Panama Pensionado program, you'll get numerous government perks, from a 25% discount on airline tickets and utility bills to a 50% discount on tickets to movie theaters and sporting events. 37. Portugal. Portugal's idyllic location on the Iberian Peninsula, along with its famous port wine, make it a popular destination for retirees. You can get an appointment with a Portuguese consular officer for a Type 1 permit by providing proof of financial means and passing a criminal background check, in addition to other paperwork. The so-called Golden Visa is for those investing at least €500,000 in Portuguese real estate. 36. Morocco. Romantic visions of Casablanca entice many retirees to consider Morocco, and the very low cost of living is another attraction. You can apply for an extended stay in the country at the nearest Moroccan police precinct. 5. China. Home to magnificent cultural treasures and a wide variety of culinary options, China is also a cheap place for Americans to retire. There's a range of Chinese visa options, but if you intend to reside there permanently, you'll be looking for a D visa, which you can apply for in the country or at a Chinese consulate. Within 30 days of arrival, you'll then apply for a 10-year permanent residence permit. 4. Cyprus. If you're dreaming of retiring to a lush Mediterranean island, Cyprus might be one of the best places to live. Considering its location, rents are surprisingly affordable. If you're staying for longer than 3 months, you'll have to apply for one of the 3 types of long-stay visas: residence visa, work permit or student visa. 33. Slovakia. Slovakia may not be on many people's radar, but it ranks more than 10 points ahead of the US in safety ratings and is a member of the Schengen area of the European Union. For a residency permit lasting between 6 months and 6 years, apply at the Embassy of the Slovak Republic in Washington, D.C. 32. Hungary. Boasting an underappreciated European capital with a gorgeous parliament building, Hungary is a safe country with a cost of living far below that of the US. You can get an extendable 5-year residence permit to Hungary with proof of financial means, a residence and health insurance. 31. Costa Rica. If you're looking for a pure or simple life in retirement, try Costa Rica, where the motto is Pura Vida. A lush, tropical nation with no standing army, Costa Rica offers temporary and permanent residency visas through the Immigration Office of Costa Rica. 30. Slovenia. Enjoy affordable outdoor living surrounded by Slovenia's mountains, lakes and rivers. Once you've achieved at least 5 years of continuous legal stay in the country, you can apply for a permanent residence permit. 29. South Africa. A cost of living less than half of that in New York makes South Africa one of the cheapest places to retire. Qualify for a temporary or retired person's visa in the country by proving a guaranteed monthly income of 37,000 rand, or about $2,500. 28. Latvia. A former member of the Soviet Union, inexpensive Latvia boasts amazing beaches and the widest waterfall in Europe, among other natural and man-made attractions. A Schengen nation, Latvia requests foreigners applying for visas to contact the Latvian embassy, consulate or consulate general. 27. Estonia. Estonia is one of the cheapest places to retire, with a cost of living about half of New York's. The country offers both temporary residence permits with durations of up to 5 years and long-term permits. As with many other countries, you'll need to provide proof of income and demonstrate language proficiency. 26. Taiwan. Taiwan boasts the highest healthcare rating in the entire study, a full 17 points above the United States. Overall costs are about 40% cheaper compared to New York City, making Taiwan one of the best retirement values for your money. You'll have to apply for a Chinese visa to become a resident of Taiwan. As a retiree, your best bet to qualify might be as an investor. 25. Kazakhstan. Rent and groceries are ridiculously cheap in Kazakhstan, which has an overall cost of living more than 70% below that of New York City. You can obtain visas for educational or work-related purposes, as well as a visa for humanitarian efforts or reunification of family members. 24. Uruguay. Uruguay is another under-the-radar country for American retirees that want to retire near the beach, as it has both a beautiful coastline and a low cost of living. The country has an extensive roster of visa options. To apply for a permanent visa, you'll need to file a written request at a consular office within the country. 23. Lithuania. Lithuania is another former member of the Soviet Union that borders the Baltic Sea. American citizens can visit the Schengen nation for up to 90 days. If you wish to retire in Lithuania, the consulate recommends you apply for a residency permit before you travel to the country. 22. Poland. With one of the lowest costs of living, Poland has retirement-friendly rents that are 82% lower than what you'd pay in the Big Apple. Groceries cost nearly 70% less. If you want to settle in Poland and enjoy all of its old-world charm, you'll first need to live in the country on an uninterrupted basis for several years. 21. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has fairly extensive residence visa requirements, and a visa can be difficult to obtain unless you are hired to work in the kingdom. With rent about 85% cheaper than that of New York, however, the payoff may be worth the effort if you're hankering to live in the Middle East. 20. Spain. Spain is the romantic land of flamenco music, gaudy architecture, wine country and so much more. Spain is also in the top 20 when it comes to the most affordable places to retire. You may be able to get a residence visa for retirees in about 2 to 3 months if you can prove that you're earning an income of at least €25,560 annually, plus €6,390 for each additional family member. 19. Czech Republic. A dozen romantic UNESCO sites in the Czech Republic offer plenty to explore during retirement, but the country also ranks number 12 in terms of healthcare quality, versus the US at number 29. While you can get long-term visas for the Czech Republic, permanent residency is normally reserved for former Czech citizens or for humanitarian reasons. 18. Greece. Lovers of antiquities, or island life, may think of Greece as their dream retirement destination. Even better, rents are nearly 89% cheaper than those in New York City. You may qualify for retirement residency if you can demonstrate a monthly income of at least €2,000. 17. Brazil. Brazil has lush rainforests and a beautiful culture, as well as grocery and rent costs that are 88% cheaper than those in New York City. You may be able to get a visa in 4 to 8 weeks if you are retired and can demonstrate a monthly income of $3,500, plus $1,500 for each dependent. 16. Thailand. Thailand's sunny beaches and misty mountains are reason enough to retire in the country. The cost of living is nearly half of that in Manhattan, and you'll enjoy rent that's 77% cheaper and groceries that are 69% less expensive. If you're over age 50 and not working, you may get a 1-year retirement visa if you can show 65,000 baht per month in income, a bit over $2,000, or 800,000 baht in a bank account, which is worth of $25,000. 15. Romania. If you want to whittle away your retirement days by poking through old castles and churches, Romania may be your ideal location. It's one of the cheapest places to live, with rents that are 90% cheaper than those in New York City. You must reside in the country for at least 5 years to qualify for a long-term visa, and even then, you may not qualify unless you have Romanian family. 18. Ecuador. Ecuador is attractive to many American retirees because the country's official currency is the US dollar. To apply for a visa, you can communicate with the Migration Support Service offices in the country or get an application form via the government website. You'll need a source of income and health insurance, among other requirements. 13. Croatia. Gothic and Renaissance architecture peering over the Adriatic Sea make Croatia a stunning, affordable backdrop for adventures in retirement. The country's association with the Game of Thrones television series has also made it quite popular among tourists. Gaining permanent residence can be difficult, however, unless you or your family members are already nationals of a European Economic Area member state. 12. Turkey. Imagine shelling out just over 7% of what you would pay in Manhattan to rent an apartment in Turkey. Unlike many other countries, however, Turkey doesn't have a retirement visa for foreigners, but you may be able to qualify for a family reunification visa. Bulgaria. Rich in culture, folk crafts and music, Bulgaria is the best place to sway to the Blue Danube waltz on the shores of the actual river. Rents that are 92% cheaper than those in New York may set your toes tapping. Although short-term visas are easy to get, long-term Bulgarian visas are generally issued for employment or educational purposes, not foreign retirement. Serbia. Serbia offers some of the lowest rents for retirees, at about a 92% savings over New York City prices. Skiing or exploring the country's picturesque mountains is a draw for many visitors. In addition to filing mounds of paperwork with the City of Belgrade Police Directorate, you may qualify for a permanent visa if you've lived in the country for 5 years or married a citizen. 9. Vietnam. Vietnam is a land of beauty and mystique, with fantastic food and rock-bottom prices. You can apply for numerous types of visas with the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Although the longest you can stay with any type of visa is 5 years, you can also renew any type of visa you receive. 8. Mexico. You don't need to be a millionaire to retire south of the US border, which boasts warm weather perfect for outdoor activities. In fact, an income of $2,000 per month, or a bank account with $80,000 or more, may qualify you for permanent residency. In Mexico, rent and groceries are nearly 90% and 70% cheaper, respectively, compared to New York. 7. Philippines. As the country's tourism board proclaims, it's more fun in the Philippines, due in no small part to the smiling faces of the locals as well as the archipelago's white sand beaches and turquoise waters. You can get a special resident retiree's visa if you have a monthly pension income of at least $800 and deposit $10,000 in a bank. If you don't have a pension, you may obtain a visa with bigger bank deposits. 6. Indonesia. Dramatic volcanic islands provide a wealth of outdoor activities in Indonesia. If you're over age 55 and have at least $1,500 per month in retirement income, insurance and accommodation, you may qualify for an Indonesian retirement visa. 5. Colombia. Wake up to a great cup of locally sourced coffee when you live in Colombia. A Colombian retirement visa is fairly easy to obtain, requiring about $765 in monthly income from an approved pension source like Social Security. Best of all, you can apply online for this visa. 4. Pakistan. Pakistan might not be the first country that pops into the mind of the average American looking for great places to retire, but the sixth most populous nation in the world does host nearly 1.2 million British Pakistanis, and it has the lowest overall cost of living of any country in the study. Generally, you can get a long-term visa in Pakistan only if you have a special purpose or Pakistani background. 3. Malaysia. Malaysia, with the tourism motto Truly Asia, is one of the gems of Southeast Asia, boasting exotic beaches, one-of-a-kind skyscrapers and some of the best geological features for exploration. Residence passes are generally limited to those with some type of native or familial Malaysian connection. 2. India. Cost of living doesn't get much lower than in India, where rents are an incredible 95% below New York City rates, and the overall cost of living is more than 75% cheaper. India doesn't offer specialty retirement visas, but you can potentially get a tourist visa that's valid for 10 years. 1. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka offers a 2-year renewable visa known as the Dream Home Visa, which requires a $15,000 deposit and a monthly income of at least $1,500. Also, you must be at least 55 years old to get a visa to the country that was dubbed the #1 destination in Lonely Planet's 2019 Best in Travel rankings.